Hello and welcome to my kitchen where there is nothing really wrong with it, but we're gonna destroy it and make it into something that I thought I could only dream about having in this house. This is going to be our biggest project to date, and I can't wait to show you what we can do. This was my mood board and my kind of vision for the space. I want a huge island. So we are going to show you how we got to that process. First, we have to destroy this kitchen to make it beautiful again. And that is what part one of this extreme kitchen renovation series is going to be about. This is one of those projects that started because we were going to do another project. We were going to do new flooring in our home, and when we were figuring out how to lay the flooring patterns and all of that stuff, I said, well, if we ever decide that we are going to remove this island or bar for whatever reason, we're gonna have to redo the floors again. So why don't we just take this stuff out first, lay the floors, and then build an island in here? And at first, Scott was kind of like, what are you talking about? And then like within 30 seconds, he was like, you're right. We need to take this out before we do floors, or we're never gonna do it. So the first thing we took out was the little island here, which honestly, this island was kind of just a waste of space in this kitchen. It was too small to have anything sitting on it and then also like cook and prep on it. It was great for storage, but it was just something that we used all the time, but was always a hassle because there wasn't enough room on it to really like prep anything. We also redid this bar area here only like 2 years ago. We put this like farmhousey paneling on it just as something to make it look a little more like up to date for the time that we did it. So it was one of those things of, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're taking this apart when we just did it. A huge reason why I really wanted to take out this bar area was I am 5'1", and this bar with the countertop came up so high that it blocked my view of the rest of the house, where we have an open floor plan house, and I wanted to be able to see into the living room from the kitchen, and with this the way it was, I couldn't do that. It also came out so far that if someone was sitting at the bar and sitting at our dining table right behind it, they'd be touching chairs. So I really wanted to make a floor plan in this kitchen where we could have people at the island, have people in the dining room, and still have a lot of walkway just to make the flow of this area fit so much better. Scott removed this piece of granite, and you can see the dining chairs and you can see like more into the living room, I knew that we were making the right decision. Just by removing that little piece, it opened things up so much that I was like, wow, we should have just taken that bar out a long time ago and had this like counter height area. Like, I would have been happy with this for a long time. This entire kitchen project was so messy. My house was covered in dust for weeks. Once we got it all cleaned up, Scott had to remove this bottom like footer you see here. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but he actually had to use a angle grinder to grind out like the screws that were in here because he just couldn't get like this thing up. The way counters are installed, they are glued to a piece of plywood that was screwed into the cabinets beforehand. So the best way for us to take this granite off was to actually cut through the screws with a multi-tool. And then with help from our friends, we were able to get the granite off and out of the house. And this is when this project really started to move fast. This angled wall has always just been so weird to us in the first place. So we really did want to try to remove it and straighten this area out, but we weren't sure if we could, and we really thought that all of this could be load bearing. So we started to take it apart so we can get a better idea of it. And once we got it all opened up, we still couldn't tell because there was major beams going across the top of this entire little wall thing. So I actually reached out to a fellow YouTuber. His name is Matt Bangs Wood on here. I'm gonna tag him below because he is just an incredible contractor. So I reached out to him and he was helping me throughout this whole process. And then I also reached out to a local contractor to come over and just double check everything. Even though this is a small wall that we took out, it was still scary because you never know what could happen. And us just being DIYers, we didn't want to take that chance of making a huge mistake here. So we got the all clear from 2 contractors. So we started to remove this little wall. I'm so happy we made the decision to remove this wall. I can't even lie that we went back and forth on whether to do it or not because it added, more time to the timeline that we wanted to get things finished. But it was 100% the right choice, and I am so glad that we did it. You can see when he takes this out just the difference it makes. You can see into the full living room. It opens it up so much more, and it really just makes sense not to have an angled half wall coming out right here. Next up, Scott did have to frame the new section here because we are just going to square it off. I don't have that on film because he did it outside and I was dealing with the kids, but just a very basic frame that he built to square everything off.
Been on my mind, sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey.
And then we knew it'd be easier just to do new drywall on all of this wall versus doing a thin piece and then trying to patch this hole.
Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so...
If it feels like I skipped something or left out a detail that you were curious about, leave me a comment because I am more than happy to answer it. You can also go to our Instagram at the Ransons Home or our TikTok at the Ransons Home as well. And I have everything documented from these, sometimes with more detail just because I have more time to explain in a story or a video there than I do on a voiceover on this video. So if there's something I missed, just ask or go through the highlights on my Instagram.
You know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty with the wind blowing.
And then after a quick Home Depot run, we had new drywall. And this part of the project actually only took a day. Scott was able to remove the wall and add new drywall in a day, and it was amazing because it's been a long time since we had a one-day project.
Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty.
Okay, it is time to finish up this drywall. I've never done this before, but I have watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've read a lot of Pinterest posts. I've seen other people do it on Instagram, so we're gonna try this. Not really sure what I'm doing, but that's DIY. It's the first time for everything, right? Luckily, the only side of this that I really have to make sure gets done perfectly is this little part, because on the big part of this wall, we will be tiling it floor to ceiling to match the rest of the kitchen. So I'm definitely going to start on this side so I can get my bearings and figure out how to do this. And also I'm really worried about the ceiling because Scott didn't do his best work on that, but we're gonna make this work. The thing I am definitely most scared about is texturing, because I've never done that before. So we're gonna try to do this. The other thing that we're gonna try to get done today is finishing up this floor. And basically just what we have to do with this is fill in the area that there was never tile so we can lay new flooring and never have to see this again. First thing I had to do was install a bullnose corner bead, which was honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done. When I was a kid, we built our house and we did bullnose corners in that house as well. So I had a little bit of background knowledge on how these work, but it was still just so difficult for me to install and get this to look good. Just being completely honest, that I really wish our house did not have bullnose corners. This project did teach me that I actually really enjoy doing drywall work. I found doing the patching of the seams and mudding to be really relaxing. The only area I really had to worry about was the little side of this, so on the other side of where I'm actually working right now. That's the only visible spot of drywall. I wasn't able to film us texturing because we did have to kind of like enclose us in this area to avoid getting it like everywhere. And then we did do tile on this wall. But I did want to just show like a close-up so you see that my skills aren't great, but they were okay for what had to be done. Where the old cabinets were, there was no flooring there, and because we did floating floors after this, we did have to just cover the floor with tile to make it level again. You can see in the befores and after here just how much more open it is. I can't wait for the next video when we dive into the actual big renovation of building the island. I hope you consider subscribing so you don't miss the rest of the videos in this extreme kitchen renovation series. I cannot wait to show you guys what we do with this space.